When the beat drops, you know exactly what time it is. Hello and welcome into the Blitz, where the Bucs take on the Bills right here on 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Evan Closky, joined with my pony package partner, David Schiele, as always. And this is a big game, David.
This is a huge game, especially what we saw last week. I mean, we have plenty to break down in this matchup. Why the ground game will take center stage in Buffalo, how best friends are becoming enemies just for a day. Plus, in our Locked On Burning question of the week, we ask, are there reasons to be concerned about this Buccaneers offense?
So let's get started. This is the 10 and 10, the 10 most important storylines you need to know before the Buccaneers take on the Bills. And at 10, we have two very angry teams suiting up in this contest. Tampa Bay came back from its bye and put forth a clunky performance against the Patriots. As for the Bills, they traveled to Miami and no-showed against a really bad Dolphins team. We're expecting a better effort from both teams this week. Oddly enough, this is just the fourth time Tampa Bay will play in Buffalo. The first time was as recent as 2009. Raheem Morris was the coach of the Bucs back then. The Buccaneers are 8-5 against this franchise, but all three losses in Orchard Park for this team.
So the lack of trips to Buffalo is odd, yes, but it's also rare for two non-conference teams to meet in the preseason and the regular season. Remember, in late August, the Bucs hosted the Bills, and it was notable for that reason right there. Tess Johnson, yeah, that was a coming-out party. Also, Shiloh Sanders swung on a player and got ejected, was soon cut after this, so it's notable for that too. At number 9, Heisman Award winner versus reigning league MVP. That's what we have in this contest. Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen will square off in Buffalo. The two are actually very good friends, and we caught a glimpse of their banter earlier this week when both had to talk about one another.
I have to walkie-talkie to him because he's so damn tall, so I can't really have a face-to-face conversation with him. But, you know, in Buffalo, it's cold, it's rainy. Even though he's 6'10", his hands are small, so he better wear his gloves.
Baker wears 2 gloves golfing. So he's that type of guy. I love the guy. He's awesome.
So from an X's and O's standpoint, Evan, we are wondering if Baker Mayfield is going to get back to scrambling a bit. His last 3 contests, 0 rushing attempts.
Yeah, on the flip side, David, the key for Tampa Bay will be getting Josh Allen in 3rd and long. Last year, blitzing him on 3rd and long would have been a nightmare. Yeah. This year, it's been a winning formula. Why? Well, the wide receivers just do not scare many teams. So at number 8, this is a double whammy for Josh Allen. You face Todd Bowles, who loves the blitz, but you also face this Buccaneers team that has one of the best DB groups in the league. That unit has the 4th lowest collective passer rating when targeted. They are tied for the league lead in sacks with 6. They also have the most tackles for a loss. Benjamin Morrison had his rookie moment last week against the Patriots, but even with Jamel Dean playing at an all-pro level this season, Bowles will still likely rotate Morrison in with Dean and Zion McCollum where he can. David, surely fans will love to see that.
Yeah, so at number 7, fans never thought they had to be worried about the rushing defense, but here we are. Bowles looked a bit more involved with the defensive line this week, especially because he was going in motion at practice. Yeah, I've never seen that. In the last 3 games,
he was scooting.
He was scooting. The Bucs have given up touchdown runs of 55, 69, and 78 yards. This unit is now giving up 4.2 yards per carry. That is 14th in the NFL. And now they have to go up against James Cook, who has the 2nd most rushing yards in the league. He is behind only Jonathan Taylor.
So that's a tough test, but look at who we saw on the practice field this week once again. Bucky Irving. We have not seen Irving since week 4 against Philadelphia and has been sorely missed on this team. At number 6, the return is on the horizon for Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin Jr. It just will not be this week. The Bucs certainly missed Godwin on 3rd downs. Also, in the 4 games Bucky played so far, he averaged nearly 23 touches for 108 yards. In the 5 games Rachaad White played since that injury, he averaged 18 touches for 63 yards. Tampa Bay remaining cautious with their stars. Expect to see White and Sean Tucker again at it.
And the Bucs will have to be committed to the ground game for 2 reasons. 1, the Bills defense ranks dead last, allowing 5.5 yards per carry. 2, the weather is looking bad in Buffalo. So at number 5, we asked our friend and 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist James Hopkins to help paint a picture for what upstate New York will look like for this game.
there is going to be the potential for a wintry mix. And as you can see, the stadium is just south of Buffalo there. Not looking at a lot there, but we're going to see a little bit of a wintry mix and mostly snow by the time we go through game time from 1 to about 4 o'clock. This is not going to be the big factor, though, when it comes to this game. Check out your forecasted winds. So there is a clipper, a front that comes through on Saturday, and then you're going to see the winds really picking up as we go throughout Sunday. So here's Buffalo. As you can see, 17 mile per hour sustained with a gust of 26, and that's in the morning. Look at that just pick up as we go to kickoff. 36 for your wind gusts and getting up close to 40 miles per hour for these wind gusts as we go through the game. Sustained winds are going to be in the 20s throughout the entire game as well. That doesn't really start to die down, unfortunately, till you get to Monday. Also, it's going to be cold, and wind chill shows that throughout the game, not going to be feeling like you're going to get above freezing. About 30 to 31 is what you're going to see for the entire game. So it's going to be cold, it's going to be windy with that potential for that wintry mix. So for your official forecast there for Orchard Park, again, which is a little south of Buffalo, 40 degrees at kickoff. There's those winds, 21 gusting to 34 with a 40% chance for that wintry mix. As we go throughout your second half, about 39 degrees. And by the time the game comes to an end, 38. So again, it's going to be a tough contest, and weather is not cooperating definitely for the Bucs, which makes for a good home field advantage there for the Bills.
Thank you so much, James. And you know what cold weather means, right? It's Todd Bowles beanie hat season. We only get bundled up Todd Bowles so often.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. This will likely be Tampa Bay's third game in the past 4 years south of 50 degrees. Look, in the end, this franchise shut down the vet in Philly. It was cold. They hit a heave to Scotty Miller in Green Bay. It was cold then too. There was no noticeable trend with the Bucs playing in cold weather. You just got to get the job done.
Got to get it done.
So there's a couple of guys who have played in the cold before. Rookies Emeka Egbuka and Tez Johnson. At number 4, these young wideouts continue to step up. After the game with New England, this duo became just the 6th set of teammates since 2000 with 250-plus receiving yards and 4-plus receiving touchdowns each during their rookie seasons. There have been plenty of learning curves here, but the future is bright for sure. So speaking of the offense, let's go to number 3. Bring in our guy, James Yarko, for our Locked On Bucs burning question of the week. And James, fans are starting to get frustrated with the offense and Josh Grizzard. How concerned are you about the issues with that unit right now?
I wouldn't say that I'm overly concerned with the offense as of late, just knowing how shorthanded they are. You know that you're missing a key piece in Mike Evans, that guy that can win those jump balls, that can move the sticks, that is always a threat to go deep. You're missing Jalen McMillan, you're missing Chris Godwin, and then, of course, you're missing Bucky Irving. Now, of course, Bucky and Godwin are going to be back sooner than later, it appears, but you're also dealing with problems on the offensive line. So all of those things compounded together all at once is not allowing Josh Grizzard to operate and run the offense that he initially intended to run. You're also dealing with injuries to Baker Mayfield. That's affecting his performance. We have not seen him take off and run the ball since the game against the San Francisco 49ers. You put all those things together, and of course the offense is going to suffer a little bit. The good news is these guys are getting healthier. You're going to have players returning, and you're going to see the offense start to swing in the other direction, more like what we saw in the beginning of the season. The other good news is the defense overall is playing well enough to keep this offense in games, even though they are currently struggling to play the way that we're used to seeing them play.
It's a big show for guests named James. Thank you so much. At number 2, we have to discuss how tough Tampa Bay's schedule has been this season. From weeks 4 to 12, so we haven't gotten through all of it yet, 7 of 8 of their opponents so far have winning records with a combined 48-18. The Buccaneers have had the toughest strength of schedule up to this point of any NFC team currently in a playoff position. Finally, at number 1, let's take a look at the NFC standings right now. If the season ended today, the Bucs would be hosting the Rams in the first round of the playoffs. Because of last week's loss, they're now 1 game back at the top spot in the conference. There's still a game and a half up of the Carolina Panthers in the division. And I have to say, David, I was genuinely surprised by some of the responses from fans after the Patriots loss. It's one thing to slam players and coaches after defeat. Look, I get that. It is what it is. But there was a squad there on social media who made it seem like they lost to the worst team in the league. And, the Patriots are 8-2 now. It wasn't that bad of a loss.
They've won how many games in a row? 8?
Yeah. it's impressive. I don't know how many they won in a row. They're 8-2.
It's a good team. And look, Tampa Bay definitely gave that game away. I will say that. But I'm going to assume some of this anger is around the fact that Todd Bowles doesn't punch above his weight class well enough. In the past, his squads are just 8-14 against playoff teams. As of right now, they are 1-3 against those type of squads. Todd Bowles has also always had a 3-game losing streak at some point in the season. There is a lot of fear. Another one is brewing right now, Evan. I'm going to just say that.
Yeah, and things might get worse before they get better, right? But some of the complaints are probably a bit premature. Let's see how Tampa Bay performs in the next 2 weeks, then reassess. Am I panicking about this team even if they hit their usual 3-game slide? I am not, because the schedule is favorable down the stretch after you get through the Rams. They got no one that's making the playoffs right now. All right, time now for the all-out blitz. Let's start with our parlay of the week. We were 2 Drake-made pass attempts short of a victory last week for my prop. I'm going Sean Tucker over 40.5 yards. He pretty much split carries with Rashad last week.
As for my pick, I'm going with Emeka Egbuka to go north of 59.5 receiving yards. Then for our communal pick, Evan and I are picking James Cook to find the end zone. So let's round that all up, and we've got plus 525.
As for what you can watch on 10 Tampa Bay, it's a doubleheader. At 1 o'clock, we got the game we've been talking about between the Buccaneers and Bills. Then at 4:25, we have an AFC West doozy as the Chiefs travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. Checking out our Blitz picks records. We both took an L last week, so I am now 6-3. David 4-5. I still retain honors, and will give my prediction first. I think we are going to get a better effort from the Buccaneers, but we're also going to get a better effort from the Bills as well. The Bills have just 5 losses at home since 2022. Also, the road team in this matchup hasn't won since 1991. I think Tampa Bay could pull off the upset. I think they're going to cover, but I do not have them winning. 27-23 Buffalo is my final score, David.
I've got some catching up to do in the standings, so I'm going to go with the Bucs. I do think this game is a bit more of a toss-up than some folks are willing to admit. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay, 24-20.
Look, hopefully he's right. I'm wrong. It's happened before. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of The Blitz. Next week, we have a huge NFC primetime matchup in LA, but for right now, we're going to lock in on Buffalo at 1 o'clock. That is David Schiele. I am Evan Closky. This is The Blitz. We will see you same time or same place next weekend.